quick show you how to use Instanet Forms from the MLS. You would first go, pardon me, and of course log in to your MLS. So I'll do that here quick. And that's going to, of course, open up the home screen on the MLS. Over here under the Home tab, you're going to go ahead and go to Instanet Forms. Now there's actually another way to do that as well. You can do it from inside any property screen, okay? What we're going to do is, there's a few options here. We're just going to go ahead and create a transaction. Over here on the right hand side, right here, is where you'll have the option to do whatever it is that you need to do. So it says here, create a new transaction. You could select some and delete them. I've never deleted a transaction. I doubt we ever will. So you just create a new transaction. Click this arrow button right here. That's going to go ahead and it's going to start the name. Now what we do is we typically will name them address. And then property address is good enough. You could also put in like a client's name or something like that. I forget who's buying Ivywood, must be Bonkowski. And then the transaction type, again, we're either always a residential listing or a residential sale. So you'd select that. Then it's going to ask you where you want to pull data from. So if you were to go in from the MLS underneath a property sheet, you can click Instanet Forms underneath the photo. You wouldn't have to type this information in. Otherwise, you could populate information from a property right here. And then it also asks who we are representing. There's another thing here is there's templates that we can create. I have not done that yet. Might be something that you and I do down the road. And you go ahead and click Save. Once you're saved, then you can type in all of the information under this Details tab. All of the information about the property. So for example, if we are going to be writing an offer, I would simply go to the earnest money and we might type in what the earnest money is, maybe what the purchase price is, and then we would go to whatever our offer date might be, and our close date would be probably the most easily recognizable ones that I would do. So earnest money, purchase price, offer date, close date. Okay. Once you're done doing that, you can scroll down and hit Save. So this is just an example of using this. Then what you do is you just move along the tab line here. It's going to have me in here. If we wanted to add a buyer or a seller, again, it would be over here under this little button. So I'm going to go ahead and add a client. Again, you can pick many different kinds. For us, it's going to be buyer or seller, typically. And what you would do is you can type in first name, last name, and then just whatever their email address is. And then what we'll do is we'll always click this Add to My Contacts, so that way we'll have this information already sorted. Otherwise, we could insert from contacts, which would be clicking this button, and then we could go ahead and select somebody that we are already working with. Okay, so pretty easy. I typically do not grant access to my clients. Click Save. Move right along, right to the Form section. Now again, over here in this right-hand corner, you've got Add New Form. The form that you're going to be using most often, at least in the initial stages here, is the closing worksheet like we talked about before. Now you can literally just search closing, the word closing, and you do have to click this. Enter doesn't work, and there's a couple different here. And once you highlight the closing information sheet, just click Add Selected, and now all of a sudden there you have that added. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to click this button here, and we're going to auto-populate any and all information, and it'll auto-populate close date, type, whatever it might be. Then from there, we're actually done with these tabs, at least for now. Now what you can do is you can actually open this up, and it'll open up in your Adobe editor. and we can go ahead and we can edit this document directly from here. So if you want to, you don't have to print these closing worksheets anymore. You could actually create them from in here. I think this is actually a computer problem. Nope, didn't have to do it, so that's good. So you can see it actually populated the close date here. If we had chosen an MLS listing, it would actually populate address, MLS number, city. I mean, it'll auto-populate a lot of this stuff. And then the rest of this is just, where again you got the information from before, So is it contingent upon inspection? Yeah. Are we working with a buyer? Yep. It's a property, residential, and it's none of the above. Then you just type in the address and move right along down the line. It'll auto-populate client information. You'd put, cell phone number in there too, or whatever, like we talked about before. And then the lender company, we would put that in. That wouldn't auto-populate. The seller information, we would put unknown here for that one. And the seller's title company, like we talked about here earlier today, I think what I'd have you do is get in touch with the listing agent and let's actually gather this information. So, for example, you might be using DCA title. If I can type here. Oops, I just hit the tab button. Apparently the tab button doesn't get me to where I want to go. Oh, maybe it does. And then you've got the closer here, Kim Kardashian, I guess, is going to be the closer for our property here. The seller information, again, not necessary. If we are working with a seller, you would check these boxes. If it's an FHA mortgage, put the lender name, whoever it might be. Now the listing company, again, is going to be on the MLS page. It'll auto-populate here if we would have pre-input that MLS information. And then my information is already in here as well. Then you'll just put whatever our payout is, and then again, I'm almost always 100%. Keep scrolling down, it'll say earnest money here. Same thing. I mean, it's super easy on how to maneuver through this system. I'm just clicking a couple other things here because it looks like I'm as far down as the screen will allow me to go. Anyways, when you're all complete, you just click Save, and then you can exit the form editor, which is right here, and you go right back to that screen. Now from here, you can actually click this, and you can print that, and that'll get you right back to where we are. So that's kind of the quick skinny on Instanet Forms, and we can learn how to use it more later. I think this would be a good one for you to practice.